What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Rochelle, and I'm back with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in, liking, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are thebomb.com. I am back to share another mortgage payoff update with you guys and let you guys know what exactly is going on, especially in regards to life after mortgage. Even though you have paid off your home, you're mortgage free, there are still bills, there are still things that come up, expenses that need to be covered and budgeted for and planned for. So I wanted to share some of that experience with you guys because I don't see a lot of people talking about this part. And if that's something you want to see, then definitely stick around. Okay, so first off, I am going to be working inside of my digital home buying and mortgage payoff planner. You can grab this from my website, RochelleAdamson.com. Thank you to everyone who has supported my business by grabbing their copy. You are on your way to mortgage freedom. This guide is perfect for someone who is new to home ownership. Maybe they're saving for their first home. Maybe they're saving for their second rental property. I think that it has a lot of features that could be useful to anyone. And so I'm going to dive right in with our plan. So since we are mortgage free, the first page just has a list of my recommendations of what you need to do if you want to take steps to acquire your first property. And so that's useful for that person. But since this is digital, you could delete this and, not have to flip through it. The second page has my to-do list, which I will definitely go back to in just a minute. But first, I want to share with you guys a little bit of the home stats so you can see exactly what we're talking about. So first off, we pretty much purchased this property as our primary residential home. It is an out-of-state property. We purchased it back in 2007 for $50,000 at an interest rate of 7%, which is, yes, very, very high. But that is just the nature. We were young and in our 20s and didn't really have established credit yet. We signed up for a 30-year term. It was a 1,200 square foot plus home that does not include the basement, which was probably another 500 to 800 feet easily. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath urban home, and we bought it from our parents. And so our minimum monthly payment was about $500. It covered the interest, escrow, the PMI, which did end up falling off, and our mortgage payment. It is now worth at least $150,000, and we have about $100,000 of home equity in that property. Like I said, we bought this property when we were in our early 20s, and it was at the time about 10% of our income, and our credit score was in the high 600s, and we were newly married. And so we were able to pay this property off in full in January of this year. Yes, yes, yes. As mentioned, we live in Hawaii, but it is an out-of-state property. So we have a property manager, and we also create a monthly budget separate from our regular finances. This home pays for itself. We are at the point where we have been able to cover any of the bills with income, and that is a great place to be. For some people, it would take a lot longer for us to get here, but because our mortgage was so cheap and then we paid it off and then we kept it rented out, we always had a tenant inside of it. Even if the cash flow was low that we were bringing in, it always helped to offset any costs that come with just home ownership. Also, we were able to spend at least $50,000 in major renovations over the last few years, and that really helped to build the equity in the home. And they were long overdue repairs and major renovations that were needed, but it really helped to create a space where a tenant could really thrive and feel like they're getting their money's worth. Okay, so I'm back over to my to-do list, and I pretty much just wrote down all the things that I need to get done in this next phase of mortgage payoff life. So I need to print the statements, and that's already something that I have missed the opportunity to do by logging into my account. So I would probably have to contact my credit union and get that information mailed to me before they don't have access to it anymore, because I guess after a few years they throw it away. But I just want to have a few statements to show proof that I have paid this thing down to zero. I did receive my payoff letter, and yes, that is technically good enough, but I like to have a little extra. It's nothing wrong with having a little extra proof in your back pocket in case you ever need it, to show proof that you have paid off this home and satisfied all requirements for this mortgage. Then I want to notify my landlord insurance to remove the lien on the insurance, so they don't need to be notified if there are any updates or changes with the property. I still need to do that. I need to notify the property taxes office to make sure that they know that the lien has been satisfied on the property. And I will do that because I will be mailing them a check pretty soon for property taxes in the next couple of months. So just some things to do. And to make it easy on myself, I just plan on doing these things the next time I have to reach out to these offices anyway. So we're going for easy. Then I wanted to make sure that the loan shows as satisfied on our credit report. It already does. In fact, it tanked our credit score, which was kind of an unexpected thing for me because I knew that our score would drop because it was one of our original creditor accounts, so to speak. And so it was an account that we had for years. Like I said, we bought this home when we were in our early 20s, but y'all, my poor credit score, it's going to come back. It's going to bounce back. Next up is to make a plan for our extra cash flow. So that's something I really want to dive more into, is making a plan for our money. And so we're going to start with today's video by doing that. Next is to start an escrow sinking fund. We definitely did that already. Increase savings so that we have money to cover maintenance and any repairs or expenses that come with having a tenant filled space. And then I need to randomly send our Ecobee login to. So I need to send that login to her so she has it. Since the previous tenants have moved out and the new tenants are moving in, we just want to square everything out, make sure that we know how to access the property virtually to make sure that the heating and cooling systems are working properly when needed. And now, so that's my to-do list. Now I haven't added to our home savings tracker yet. This is what we will start with this month's budget. So right now it's sitting at 0. We have no money outside of our escrow savings. This is just a savings account that I would love to build so that I can pull from it every time we need to cover something for the home. We don't need to cover the mortgage payoff tracker because it's paid in full. We don't need the payment breakdown. Okay, so here we are with the bills. Okay, these are the bills that come with the actual home. I do cover these costs because I just like to make sure that the property stays in tip-top shape. Pest control, we cover for $45 a month. Grass/snow is going to be covered by the tenant once they move in. Legal, we pay $40 a month for legal access. We are planning to pay $1,800 per year for our property manager. That's the number that I'm working with right now. Then we have a property CRM called Rent Ready. Y'all, I am so excited to use this. Rent Ready, I will definitely throw it on the screen, is a great way for your property manager, or if you are the property manager, to manage your property. And it basically is a virtual system where you can track your tenants, everything they need, paperwork. The tenant is able to come on board and do their background check, fill out their application. They're able to pay rent. They are able to communicate. You can have a maintenance system set up in play where a handyman will automatically come out to check on the property if your tenant is in need of something after hours. It's just a really professional, smooth system. And I was able to grab it at a heavily discounted rate, but we grabbed it for about $50 for the entire year. If I can find a promo code, I will definitely put it in the comments below. It is popping. It's popping. So that's taken care of for the year. Then I also use a real estate tracker. Now, since I don't use Rent Ready, that is really on the property manager, I don't access it since she does use it on my behalf. Stessa is a free real estate tracker that I have found to be top notch. It covers the property as a whole. It will let me track each property. Like, say if you have multiple properties, it will let you track each property individually so you can see your tenant, your lease, your income, your transactions. It will let you know your profit loss statement. It will share with you the value of your home, how you're doing compared to other homes in the neighborhood. It's just a good resource to have for someone who, especially like me, is kind of like out of touch. I am away, I'm out of state, so I love it. And that way I can kind of be ready for tax time. Okay, and then the last 3 are my annual bills, which is ground rent for $96 a year, landlord's insurance for $650 a year, and property taxes for $2,200 a year. So if you add up all of those bills, it comes to $5,814 for the entire year. And so that's not bad when you think about the overall big picture as far as, you know, the fact that we don't have to pay the mortgage or anything like that. But still, I need to make sure that I have at least $5,800, maybe even rounded up to $6,000 a year for operating costs. That does not include any maintenance that might come up that might need to be done, any major repairs, any renovations. So that's why it's so important to me that I budget this money that's going to be coming in. So I've already also broken it down by monthly costs. So I added up the minimum needed to cover certain transactions every month, and it comes to $527 a month. And I'm glad I really did the math on this because I thought it was like about $400 a month. So those are my bills, and I keep track of them since some of them are annual or semi-annual. So you can see, like, property tax, we only pay twice a year. I've already paid for it in January, and I'll need to pay for it again this summer. But this helps me to stay organized, and I find that I don't ever get behind in my bills this way, and I know how much money I need to have saved by a certain time. Now I have my home expense tracker that I will be using as things occur. My property manager will probably check in with me once a month and let me know how much money was spent on different expenses. We have a threshold that we have came to an agreement on where she can spend however much she needs to spend for the home up to a certain amount. Anything over that, she tries to reach out to us first. And that just kind of keeps it kind of easy for me, so I can see the value in having a property manager. She lives and breathes this stuff. She is the expert in how to obtain good quality workers and making sure that contracts are in place and all of that stuff. So it's something that I have grown to appreciate more and more over time. When I was just starting out in the beginning, I did not have a property manager. So, you know, wait until you can afford to do this type of thing. But once you do, you will see the benefits. Then I have my renovations and repairs list. So this is like my planned list. Normally the property manager would track this, but for the sake of this video, I went to her notes and I was able to grab some ideas on what things need to be covered for the home. So first up is a paint job for the home. It will definitely get a nice refresh. This is going to be the first time that the space has been emptied out enough for a lot of work to be done, because if you live in a home for a long time, it does need to be, you know, refreshened up. So that will cover trim, closets, and a bedroom at the very minimum. And the best part about that refresh is that it's going to be gifted. I am just so happy to have people in my life who are just thebomb.com. Now I may have to pay after a certain amount, so that's why I still list it as a line item here, because maybe, you know, their gift is only up to a certain amount, but my paint project comes to more than that gifted amount. Well, then that's okay. I want to make sure that I plan for it. But you guys know how expensive paint can be and to get your space painted. So I'm just so happy. So happy for that one. Okay, then smoke detectors. I'm going to need 2 new ones because we just like to have, as you know, up to date things as possible in the home. So that's just for safety. I put a budgeted guest amount of $50. I'll see when it actually the numbers start to actually roll in. Then I know she's going to need some tile replaced in one of the bedrooms, and so ceiling tiles, that is. And so I just put a guesstimate of, again, $50. That's like my go-to number for stuff. It could be more, y'all, but the first thing you got to do is just guess and budget and throw a number out there. I did my research and then I guessed. Then we will need to get the property inspected so that we can obtain our rental license, which is now required in the state that we have the property. And so I encourage you to definitely stay up on things. Just because you're out of the state does not mean that you have the right to be non-compliant. So that is, again, another benefit of having a property manager in that state. She has her pulse on things and she knows when state regs change, and we need to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to stay legal. And so we will have the inspector come out. I'll put a budgeted amount of about $300. I did already get a quote from someone for about $200, just someone who was already in the field who I knew. And so I just wanted to put a little extra just in case, because inflation, y'all. Then she is going to have a trash out, and that basically means that anything that was left over from the previous tenant or maybe even from us, because, you know, we exited the home pretty quickly and there's still some things that we probably had in there, deep dove down somewhere. Like we had furniture that the previous tenant was using, stuff like that. We're going to trash all that and start fresh because the new tenant doesn't need any of it. And so I put a question mark. I do have a quote already from the property manager and it doesn't sound outrageous, so I'm not worried about it. And then I have, professional cleaning. Yes, we definitely want to do that since we're switching and we're in between tenants, so that they will clean and sanitize. That will be about $200. Then, as I said before, state regs, city regs require an active rental property license. So we want to make sure we're registered and that we have that license. And that paperwork has already been submitted. And that's just legal stuff. You know, you got to make sure you want to open up. Then I made a list of just things that I know she's going to inspect, but I just want to follow up with her to see how those things look, because like I said, it's been years since we've been really able to lay eyes on them. And these are things that have come up for me because I used to live in that space, so I know what to anticipate. So things like emptying out the dryer vent, the washer trap, checking on the gutters and the roof, checking on the bathroom plumbing, the HVAC, such as the blower fan, because we had an issue come up with that before, the water heater, plumbing, and again, like I mentioned before, the Ecobee. I also want to purchase a new washer and dryer and obtain a fire extinguisher, again, for safety. So I just wanted to lay everything out on the line, kind of do a brain dump of everything that I would like to get done in the month of April and May. So if we add all of that up, that's about 800. Let's see, 800 plus 1,500. So that comes to about $2,300 worth of spending that we might have to do this month. Like I said, it'll probably be between the next 2 months, but it will get done. And so next up, I have my sinking funds trackers because I like to keep an eye on the money again. So I have my rental property spend account, our escrow account, and our emergency fund. And once some transactions clear, I'll definitely update you guys on those amounts. But for now, our escrow is sitting at $820, and we just started saving for that in February. Then I have my wish list. So of course I want to get a washer and dryer. I would love to get the roof redone just because I feel, I don't know, my spidey senses is going off. I feel like it needs to be done. It was done probably about 3 or 4 years ago, but I want to just find out for sure. I would love to get a new kitchen window, the bay window that needs to be replaced. We tried to get it done as part of the major reno for the full kitchen dining, but COVID, so they were just out of stock everywhere. Then I want to replace the bedroom carpets, and I want to remove the stairs carpet entirely. So that's my wish list. And then we come to the budget. So for the budget for the month of April, I have my monthly overview. These are the planned expenses that I can anticipate. So I have pest control. I have a reminder here to mail the ground rent, because that to me is not a property manager's responsibility. It could be, but as owner of the home, I need to make sure that gets done, because if you don't take ground rent, they could take your house. I mean, I'm being extreme with that, but I just want to make sure that that gets done. Then utilities, since I'm going to, for the month of April, not have a tenant, I will be responsible for making sure that those utilities are paid in full. Of course, the property manager is going to do, her part, but I just want to make sure that we are all good on that end, because y'all, I'm so blessed. This will be the first time I ever had to pay utilities for our rental property since we moved to Hawaii. So thank goodness. So we'll see how it works out. Then I have to make sure that the property manager gets paid and that legal gets paid. And I have a note on here to make sure that rent and the security deposit for the new tenant are collected by the property manager. Then we have some notes here. I want to make a plan for grass and snow removal. I want to make sure the utilities get paid. I want to secure all the needed contracts. I want to make a repairs plan, and I want to research portfolio growth options. So yeah, we are thinking about grabbing another property, but like I said, we're just in a research phase for now. Then I have my monthly budget. So for the month of April, I anticipate having an income from the property of about $3,000. Of course, that'll be rent and security deposit. So let's see how we're looking. So I want to spend about $100, put $100 to the side for the gas and electric bill. The water bill will get about $80, pest control $45, legal $40, property manager $150, and ground rent $48. Then I have our sinking funds listed over here. Property tax $184, landlord insurance $55, and rent ready $5. This is paid for. These are all things that are paid for already for the year, but I just like to go ahead and save for them every month. Then next up, I have listed all of the planned spending that we plan on doing this month. And so, of course, I just said the paint job is gifted, but in case there's something that the gift that is above the gift amount, then I want to go ahead and budget for that. So we'll come up with a number for that. Trash out will probably be about $200. The professional cleaning, I already paid the deposit. Well, the property manager already paid the deposit, so $165 is left. Tile, I'm thinking it'll be about $50. Upstairs light fixtures, $50. Steamed carpets, $100. Grass, $50. This is all just a guesstimate. The property manager will give me the invoice at the end of the month and let me know what's up, but I just still like to budget for this thing. I don't like surprises. And so then I have some miscellaneous continued spending, planned spending. I definitely want to get new smoke detectors in there. I said about $50. There's a wall fixture. Not even a wall fixture, but like there's a hole in my wall that I forgot about when I was getting all this major work done before the property manager was on board. And so I'm like, yeah, we got to fill a hole. How much does that cost? So we'll see. Hopefully it's not that bad. But I put about $200 because by the time they fill the hole and paint it and all of that, who knows? Who knows? Then I have two other categories here. I know that we will need a handyman for some small projects, and again, plumbing. It's not anything super wrong, but it's just something that I noticed is starting to be something that could come up as a problem later on. And that we were able to stumble upon that problem by doing an annual inspection. So that is our planned budget. So if we add all of that up, I thought my initial numbers would be about $527 for these bills here. But let's see, actually, okay, so that's going to come to about $463 in anticipated spending. And then over here, I want to go ahead and add up how much we will have to spend on these projects. Okay, so about $1,328 is what I'm coming up with so far. And these, I'm not going to include the sinking funds because these are things that we save for anyway. The expenses, actually, you know what? I'll include it just because this is a spendy month and we want to make sure everything's covered. So 184 plus 55 plus 5. Okay, so that comes to about $1,572. And honestly, I want to come down on these numbers. So we're going to take 72 away. Let's see. We'll take it from here, wall fixtures, because I had planned spending for about $1,500. That's all I wanted to spend this month. $1,500. So what's 72? Let me see. 200 minus 72, 128. And if it comes to more than that, it is what it is. But for now, we won't fill those in. We'll just wait until things happen. Okay, so that should equal half of this income. I wanted to spend about $1,500 on whatever needs to be overhauled. Next, I want to put the rest in our account. So $1,500 is going to go to the security deposit, and the rest will stay blank. And then we'll come back at the end of the month and see how we did and how much things actually came to. So I'm excited. I am excited to see what happens with this budget. Well, that is it for today's video. Don't forget to grab your copy of my home buying and mortgage payoff guide to help you stay organized and plan for your first home. And also, if you're inside of your first home, be able to track everything that's going on with your budget and expenses. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace, love, and budgets.